All right, let's jump right in. We have all been there, right? You're staring at a medical bill and it feels like it's written in a completely different language. Well, today, we're going to talk about how a powerful new tool can basically act as your personal translator, helping you finally make sense of it all.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling of being completely out of your depth. You're expected to pay for something described in a language that is totally foreign to you, and that right there is the core problem we're going to tackle.
So, let's start with that feeling. That moment a thick envelope shows up and you get that little pit in your stomach because you know exactly what's inside.
Yeah, that heavy envelope. It hits the kitchen counter with a thud. You open it up and you're just slammed with pages of jargon, all these weird acronyms, and a final number that makes your head spin. In that moment, you're not just a patient, you're a person crashing into a system that was never really built for you to understand in the first place.
So, why is it so complicated? I promise, it's not just you. The complexity is literally baked right in. Let's peel back the layers on this, well, let's call it a layer cake of confusion.
So here's how it all happens. It starts with a doctor making a clinical decision. Then, that decision gets translated into these standardized medical codes. Then, those codes get filtered through your own, often incredibly complicated insurance policy. Now, each one of those layers makes perfect sense to an expert in that specific field. But when you stack them all together in one document, you've got a recipe for total confusion.
But what if you had a personal translator for all this mess? And that's where we get to the really practical part. This is where AI stops being some big, scary concept and becomes a super useful tool for turning all that expert speak into plain, simple human speak.
And check this out. This shows you exactly what I mean. You see a code like CPT 99284, and your eyes just glaze over, right? But an AI can instantly tell you, hey, that just means it was a more serious ER visit. Or it can take a clunky phrase like bundled payment adjustment and explain that it's just a flat fee for a service. All of a sudden, the fog starts to lift.
And this is so crucial. You just can't question a bill that you can't read. It's impossible. This simple act of translation doesn't just give you a few definitions. It gives you the actual vocabulary you need to have a real, productive, and informed conversation with someone in a billing department. And you know, having that vocabulary, it changes everything. It lets you shift your entire mindset. You can move away from that initial wave of panic and frustration and towards a structured, calm inquiry. And here's how simple it is to actually do this. First, and this is super important, black out or remove any personal info, your name, your ID numbers, all of it. Then, just copy and paste the confusing part of the bill into an AI tool. Then you just ask it, can you explain this to me in simple terms? And boom. You can use that clear explanation to create a list of really specific questions to ask your provider. It's a really straightforward process.
At the end of the day, the goal here is to completely transform your approach. You're taking back control by moving past that emotional gut punch reaction and instead engaging with the problem logically. And that is a really powerful shift.
But honestly, here's the best part. This isn't just about one medical bill. The skill you're building here is an incredibly valuable tool that you can use in so many other parts of your life.
Seriously, think about it. You can use this exact same technique to finally figure out what all those weird clauses in a super dense apartment lease actually mean before you sign on the dotted line.
Or you could use it to decode the fine print in a car loan or a mortgage. Anytime you're facing down a document filled with complex language, this skill becomes your secret weapon for making sense of it all.
Of course, we've got to use this tool wisely, so a few really important things to remember. Do use it to get prepared and ask smarter questions, but do treat its explanation like a first draft, a starting point, not the final word. And please, don't ever share personal details like your social security number or member ID. And most importantly, remember that the AI is not your doctor or your lawyer. It's an assistant. It's there to help you talk more effectively with the actual human expert.
So when we use it the right way, AI can really help close that huge gap that often exists between us as individuals and the massive, complex systems we have to deal with every single day.
And that right there is the real takeaway. You don't have to become an expert in medical billing or insurance policies overnight. You just need the right tool to help you ask good questions and actually advocate for yourself with confidence. So, there you have it, a new way to turn confusion into clarity. And that really just leaves us with one question. Now that you have a key to decode the unreadable, what complex document are you going to tackle first?